Welcome back to Freedom Friday, where we uncover biblical counter narratives that shine with faith, hope, and resilience in the lives of those who are often overlooked. Today's episode brings us to the battlefield and into the heart of one of David's greatest warriors. Not David himself, but Uriah the Hittite, the forgotten black warrior of Israel. Most of us know the story of David and Bathsheba from 2 Samuel 11. But have you ever paused to ask, who really was Bathsheba's husband? Who was Uriah? Let's take a look. Our feature text is 2 Samuel 11:4. Uriah said to David, "The ark and Israel and Judah are staying in tents, and my commander Joab, and my Lord's men are camped in the open country. How could I go to my house to eat and drink and make love to my wife? As surely as I live, I will do no such thing." The author Uriah Kim notes Uriah the Hittite is not the first person one remembers when one thinks about the story of 2 Samuel 11, popularly known as the story of David and Bathsheba. However, if the readers, especially from minority groups, pay closer attention to Uriah the Hittite, his story reveals the struggle for identity among the peoples of Israel and echoes a similar struggle among minority groups today. Uriah's name means Yahweh is my light. That's already a powerful start. It highlights his commitment to Israel's God. His identity stood between two worlds. He was a Hittite by ancestry, a descendant of Canaan through Ham, likely from a Canaanite subgroup known as the sons of Heth in Genesis 10:15. But he was also embedded in Israelite life and faith. He was part of David's inner circle of elite warriors, one of David's mighty men. They're talked about in 2 Samuel 23:39 and also in 1 Chronicles 11:41. A foreigner, yes, but also a hero of Israel. When David commits adultery with Bathsheba and tries to cover it up, he calls Uriah back from the battlefield. What happens next is one of the most convicting moments in all of Scripture. Uriah refuses to go home and sleep with his wife. Why? He says, "The ark and Israel and Judah are staying in tents. How could I go to my house to eat and drink and make love to my wife?" This wasn't only about honor. It was about faithfulness to his men, to Joab his commander, to David his king, and most importantly, to Yahweh his God. Uriah's integrity becomes a mirror, a rebuke to David himself. Here's a foreigner, a black soldier, showing more concern for Israel's spiritual well-being than its own king. In that moment, he showed a greater commitment to Yahweh's glory than the leader of the chosen people. When Uriah couldn't cover David's sin, David arranged his death. In a chilling move, he sends Uriah back to the battlefield carrying the very letter that seals his fate. Uriah, in his turn, eager to get back to the battlefield, has no idea he is carrying his own death sentence. Life can be unfair and unjust, even for those on God's mission, even for those who have a genuine zeal for his glory. Uriah is cut down in the prime of his life. But the Christ himself would later say, Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. And so even in death, Uriah's story does not end in shame. He is later named in Matthew 1:6 in the genealogy of Jesus, not only as the man who was wronged, but as the true husband of Bathsheba, who bore Solomon, David's son, and the ancestor of the Messiah. Uriah's faithfulness wasn't erased. It was remembered by God, honored, immortalized. There's a powerful lesson here, especially for those who live between worlds. People who live like outsiders, people of color, immigrants, those who serve with integrity and never make headlines. Uriah represents the silent strength of the faithful outsider. He reminds us that God sees what others overlook, that righteousness isn't about ethnicity, power, or popularity. It's about being faithful, even when it costs you everything. It makes him the prototype of the soldiers of spiritual Israel, clothed in God's armor and defeating spiritual wickedness in high places. Uriah's story is not one of defeat, but of courage, honor, and immortal legacy. So today, take a moment to remember Uriah, not just as the man who died because of David's sin, but as the man who stood for righteousness, who served faithfully, and who shines in the lineage of Christ as a quiet yet powerful testimony to God's justice. Thanks for tuning in to Freedom Friday this week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this message of hope. And remember, God's light will still shine to the forgotten ones. Until next time, stay faithful, stay strong, stay free. This is Freedom Friday, where we tell the whole story.